What's up, stoners? Cewpins here, and on today's video, we are going to talk about the future of getting high. What do you think we're going to be using in the future to get high device-wise? This is something I think about a lot. This is something I talk about a lot on my Twitch streams even. You should go check me out over there. But where do you think we're going to be in 5 years, 10 years with smoking weed, essentially? Are we still going to be smoking weed? Obviously, there's going to be joint still, pipe still, bong still, all the stuff that you know and love is still going to exist. But what do you think is going to be the more mainstream things? Well, in my opinion, it's vape pens. It's not my favorite way to smoke. It's not my favorite way to get high, but vape pens. E-rigs are in there too, but I kind of have this theory that vape pens are like the smartphone of the dabbing world or the getting high world. And an e-rig, something like a puff coat, this is more like a tablet. You know, not as many people use tablets as they use smartphones. Everybody uses vape pens. Not quite everybody has an e-rig. And part of that is due to portability. Like, this is portable, but you can't take it everywhere as easily or discreetly as you can take a vape pen. And a Puffco or most e-rigs, you're going to load up one dab in it. Sometimes you can put a bit more in the chamber and maybe run it twice. But you really kind of got to load it in between for each dab. Vape pens, you get a little half-gram cart, full-gram cart, 2.5-gram cart. I know more people are experimenting with larger carts, and I think that's kind of where we're headed. You know, atomizers are going to get better, and that type of product line is just going to see a lot of innovation in the next 5 years. It's seen so much. I think I bought my first vape pen 7-8 years ago in Colorado, and it was a little pull-activated O-Pen vape. They still exist today. I can buy their brand in Florida here. But it was a little pull-activated, not a very good pen. All of them looked the same color. It was just a little bit of THC mixed in with vape oils like propylene glycol or vegetable glycerin with a little bit of added THC. And, you know, they weren't very good back then. But it kind of opened my eyes to this thing is super portable. I could take it anywhere with me. And, you know, I can hit it inside, outside, at the mall, in the movie theater, in the car. And there's nothing I got to do. I don't got to load it. I don't got to pack it. I don't got to roll it. It's just ready to go. So, you know, as much as I hate to say it, I think that vape pens are going to be the future of dabbing or the future of getting high. It's just going to take a lot of innovation around cartridges and atomizers and stuff like that for me to really get into it. I prefer pod vapes over, I'm looking around my desk because I might have one, but I prefer pod vapes over cartridges because pod vapes kind of hit a little bit harder. You get a nice big hit. I think they spread out the heating surface where a lot of those little 510 threaded cartridges, they have just a smaller area, surface area where they actually heat up the concentrate. But it is kind of interesting to see how they've come along in the past few years versus some other things. You're not really going to make bongs that much better. You're not going to make joint papers that much better. Most of that innovation has already occurred. There are new brands and new things that are going to come out in the paper world, blunt wraps and hemp wraps and thinner papers and all this kind of stuff. But there's not going to be too much more innovation around that. It's interesting to see where we're going to kind of be in the future with vape pens and e-rigs. Because like I was saying earlier, these are kind of like the tablet world, you know. A lot of people use them, but, you know, not as many people use them as a vape pen. So there is going to be a lot of innovation coming to these types of devices, and there already has been in the future. I think the original Puffco came out in 2018. That's 4 years ago. There's other devices that are similar and have done the same thing, you know, essentially an electronic portable dab rig. I know I've had several different variations like Cloud9 and Dr. Dabber stuff from way back in the day, where it was essentially a battery that heated up a small nail or a little coil that you could put your dab on. I think the future with these is interesting because maybe not this device specifically, but I think we're going to see more partner devices where the manufacturer of the device is going to partner with the extractors or the dispensary chains, and they're going to release, you know, complementary products that go together. Imagine instead of this atomizer on here, this is that nice new 3D atomizer. I might need to make a video on this. This is a nice little dope device. But imagine instead of this atomizer that you put one dab in at a time, you got something from the dispensary that had a half a gram of oil in it or a full gram of oil, and however much you want. It's got 20 grams of oil in it. Anyway, imagine a preloaded device where they figure out how to slow drip your wax onto the nail so you're not using it all at once. And you just screw on your 1 gram puff call and you just worry about taking your 30, 40, 50 hits or whatever you're going to get off it. Maybe not that many, but however you tune it, however you set it. Just imagine not having to load up the device every time you want to hit it, and imagine not having to wipe it off every time you hit it. I think that is going to be interesting. I know I've already seen some stuff. I think Cewpins has done little pods for their device, and there's maybe been a couple others where you just screw on a preloaded cartridge essentially to your or in place of your atomizer to your e-rig or whatever it is. I think that's essentially the future for e-rigs, and we're going to see more partnerships with extractors or dispensary chains and the manufacturers of the devices. I think that's kind of where we're heading. We're always going to have improved devices and loose concentrate that you can single load, because there's always going to be quartz bangers, and there's always going to be devices like this too that might not have a preloaded cartridge. But it's interesting to think about, because the future is dabbing. I don't think the future is smoking weed. We've known about hash for thousands of years, right? They figured out thousands of years ago, it's not the whole plant that you need. It's just the trichomes, or it's part of it. You just want the terpenes and the cannabinoids extracted out of it. And as we get better with that kind of stuff, we're just going to be using more and more oils and figuring out different ways to use the oils. And I think that's going to be really cool for the future, because who really thinks of the future as in herb vaping? The number one herb vape, in my opinion, the Volcano, came out in the year 2000, before the original Xbox. You could hit vape bags before you could play Halo, and that blows my mind. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my other videos, maybe this one, and follow me on Twitch.